best of it, and I'm going to keep applying everything
Mm.
that I've, learned, or how I do things, and just keep
Mhm.
being me. Because if I'm doing okay when I was on the team, I should still be able to be okay shifting over.
Yeah.
And luckily it worked.
Yeah.
And
Well,
now
and you've kind of done the range of it, right? You started on a team,
yes,
started your own team, and then went as an
created my own.
individual agent. And once your daughter is licensed, you will be a team again,
Exactly,
right? So
exactly.
it's so
And
you have
hopefully,
a wealth of knowledge, Maureen, to be able to
yeah,
dive
I guess
in.
I guess so.
It's
So
only when you break it down, you kind of go, oh yeah, I guess, yeah, I did
yeah,
that, I did
I've
that, I
done
did
a
that.
lot. I guess I've done a lot in, less than 3 years, really.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is not to be fearful. Um, Once you know the ropes, I think you should just, venture out. You can't hurt yourself by doing it. And if you feel like it's something you want to do, it's at least this is an industry that gives you that license to actually try things. And if it doesn't work, it's no big deal. It's a lot easier. Then you can always go back and readjust. And this whole industry is about that.
Yeah.
You know, shift around and see what else works.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's like when you go back to what they've said in some of the some of the KW training, that this is the pretty much the only industry and the only profession that there is no cap on what you can do. There is no limit to how far, how big, how.
No, there's no roadblocks, or no one saying you
Yeah.
can't or you shouldn't.
Yeah.
That I agree with. I probably do that to myself per se, more so.
Right.
Do I want to grow this big team? No. Like right now in my mind, that's probably my wall, because I don't really, and maybe I would be good at that, but is it really what I want in that responsibility?
Mm-hmm.
Right now it's not what I want. It's not a fit
Yes.
for me. But the nice thing is there's no one pushing you either way. And at some point I can change my mind and everyone will say, great, go for it, and encourage you. There's a lot of places that don't do
Yeah.
that.
Even within this industry, there's a lot of places that will try to stifle growth, or you won't
Yeah,
get the encouragement, right, that you do at KW.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we get started? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your first year and what your rookie year was like?
I'm almost
If you can
I have
remember
to
all those
remember.
details.
I was going to say, seems so long ago, my rookie year. So, okay, before, like I said, I started out as an assistant before I got into it. So I was an assistant from April till December. And then that January, I took the 1 month course, and then followed through into onto that team position. Still was an assistant full time. And so I was working through the hurdles of managing the team lead, Simon, Shelley, and myself. So there was 4 of us. So I was full-time assistant for 4, plus learning the ropes of navigating, of showing homes and all that good stuff. So it was a busy first year. And I went on to this as, a chance to increase a salary. So had a set salary as an assistant, and was just going to sell, 12 to 15 maybe a year, homes, just to increase salary and have just a little more flexibility financially in life. Um, because my background from all my years is customer service. I was a hairstylist before I was even licensed hairstylist. I was cutting hair, so. But yeah, I've owned my own business since I was early 20s, I guess, after I got my master's. So, I was probably 26 years of having my own business and in my home and being a stylist. So I didn't even give that up. It was definitely, as the kids grew older, it was more of a part-time gig. And but because of those people and those relationships I made for all those years, those are what you call your biggest fans. And your biggest fans are your biggest cheerleaders, who will refer you. So I wouldn't give that up. My team leader did encourage me to say, it's time to focus on real estate 100%. And I do agree with my leader for, my team leader for that. But I knew that wasn't the right avenue, because I knew keeping those people current and in my pocket basically is what would you know, they keep loving me and keep referring me. Whether I sold them a house or not, didn't matter. They knew who I was. And that really was how, honestly, I built, I think, my, strong first year. And they
Mhm.
just, everyone would refer me. So it wasn't long that I was going from, a lead source, and cold calling to just people saying, you want a real estate agent, call Maureen. And from there, once you've nurtured, and you can get those handful of people that you can nurture in that first year, and it can be tough that first year. I mean, there's no lying to it. You kind of feel like you're running blind in one way because it's so new. Um, but if you can just, pull from pull from people, and build your database through experiences, and you guys are out of school and out of college and university, anything that you've done, those are the people you're building a database for, because they're the ones that they know you, and now they're all going to start buying homes. So my daughter will say to me, like, why do you have all my friends and my brother's friends on your Facebook? Because you people are going to buy homes. And everyone knows Brooke and Brad's mom, so they'll trust me. Who's better to trust than a mom, right? So I kind of built a niche somewhat on that, plus lived in the same community. I think being from your community, and in my case, I volunteered a lot with my children at the school, so I met a lot of people that way. So all of those old things that I did, in the last 20, 25 years, helped get me to where I was without knowing that this is where I was going,
Mhm.
which is, we don't know, we never know. So we always want to make sure we're on a good path and a positive path, and then be able to incorporate it into your new fork in the road path. So,
Mhm.
and my first year really was built, that way, and a great team that could give you great knowledge and understanding. It's one thing to become an agent, it's another thing to understand, like things like in your inspections and understanding inspection reports. And it's so important, as an agent, to be there. I know there's agents, I've done deals with other agents who don't like going to inspections with their clients. They'll send another agent. um, you're not getting the knowledge. You're not going to be able to help advise and help your clients if you're not in the trenches. And I think you have to be able to show your clients that you're willing to walk through that whole deal from, hi, I'm Maureen, to, congratulations, I'm handing you your key, or congratulations, I've sold your home. You need to be part of that. It's one thing to build a team and have people do things for you. It's another thing. I still feel it's a one-on-one. And I think you have to do that for quite a few years,
Mhm.
or you can start letting some things go. That's the personal opinion I have of it. It's them. It's the customer service that you bring to that,
Mhm.
that deal, that purchase, and
Mhm.
being that person. They're one. If they text me, I'm on it. Like, my phone is always with me. I don't. There's never a pause. They're just like, wow, like, you're so responsive. But they love that. Because you're not letting them stress out waiting for responses and things like that. So again, it's customer service is a huge part of this, and I did that, and probably as well from being the assistant, and training myself to be so responsive as well. So I think that really helped as well.
Mhm.
What else? Who has questions? I can talk. I have no problem talking, but I want to make sure I answer, I guess, people's curiosities and questions. Anyone? Come on, Rebecca.
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this into a question.
Just say it.
Just talk it out.
So I'm 21.
Yeah.
I went to university for a bit, and none of my friends are the people that I have made those strong connections with are even close to the point of being able to purchase a home. So continuing those relationships for in the future is great. But what can I do right now that's not
But
cold?
you are. You actually are. Because by nurturing the relationships of all your friends, they have parents, they have grandparents. So you're getting in their mind, and so that they'll refer you to their parents, their aunts, their uncles, their grandparents. Grandparents are going to be wanting to, downsize. Same parents sometimes as the kids are leaving home. Finally, we can, so at no point do you singularly look at that one person you're nurturing. You're trying to make sure that you want them to know you're in the industry. This is what you're doing. You're current. And as you're on a team. So for now, before you have deals of your own, if you're with mom, then that's what you're doing. You're at open houses for her. You don't have to say that it's not your listing or what have you. You just want to be out there doing your real estate thing. And when there's an accepted offer for your team, there's an accepted offer. Doesn't mean just because it's your mom's that it's not part of your team's. And you go through and you show that you're actively doing real estate, and keep yourself current on your social media, because that's who you are still targeting your age group for now, but they're also going to be talking about, look what she did. So I went 4 years to university and I got nothing. And Rebecca decided to do this instead. And look, man, look what she's doing. And then they talk about you at the kitchen table when they're there for Sunday dinner. And then grandma says, well, dear, I'm thinking about doing this. And they say, well, you know what? My friend Rebecca is doing really well. And this is what she does. Do you want me to give you her number? And that's how it happens. It's word of mouth. And it's, that's how you build your success. It doesn't matter if you're 21 and you're green. I was 40, 5, and green. No matter what, right? Like no matter what age group, and I didn't know who I was targeting. When you get into this, you're not sure who you're targeting. And it takes a while to adjust your niche to what, for a while mine was about divorcees. I helped a lot of women because people knew, I had a divorce, it was just, single mom. There's all kinds of things you can relate to. Yours, Rebecca, could be that, you travel a lot and people are starting to move home from travel, or there's all different types of avenues. You just need to be relatable. I think that's be relatable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For example, Ashlyn on PEI, she posts a lot about her dogs.
Yes. Yeah.
So people contact her because they love her dogs.
Yep.
And because they have dogs. And she has targeted her social media for that reason, right? And she's very open and honest about that. She's like, people that don't like dogs are probably not going to work with me. There's a lot of people that love dogs.
There'll be lots of people that work with her too, I think, because of wine.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're right.
She's got a great shtick though. She'll get on someone's front porch that she's just done either just sold their home or is listing it, and she's sitting on their front porch swing with a glass of wine, just saying, just listed this. Like, she's a very young, smart, real estate.
Or she gets in their bathtub and takes a picture of herself in their bathtub. Or
never lay in someone's bathtub, but girl,
I know.
But
but she just she doesn't worry about the boundaries or the expectations, right? This is who I am, and this is so, and people love it.
Yep. And I'm going to tell you, anything that I've gotten back in feedback, you're so honest. You're so, I can be in showing homes, and sometimes you get easy buyers that they're easy to please. It doesn't take much to find them a house. In this market's a little crazy, but in the norm, I've gone out with my clients. I've got ones I'm working with now. I'm really hoping they're going to firm this one up. But when we had one and they walked away from it due to inspection, so we started looking some others, and I knew from the criteria they had given me, they were looking for that forever home. They have 2 young boys. They want to be, in a good area in Bedford with great schools, all that good stuff. And this one day we went to look at this home, and everything's such a rush because, it's in multiple offers. And you have to rate these offers quick. And we stood outside. I remember it was misty out and foggy. And I said, so would this be your forever home? And they're like, oh, no, this will be like, short term, like maybe 3 to 5. And I said, so I'm going to give you my advice and my opinion. Why on earth would you battle for this type of home that I cannot, when you call me in 3 to 5 years, I cannot probably get you your money back. So you've probably blown $36,000 to $60,000 fighting for this home that you were going to lose. You're not going to have the equity. We don't know where that market's going to be in 3 to 5. It could be a dump fest, and now you're $100,000 short. We don't know where this crazy market we have now. So, it's great. Yes, we want to make a sale, and when you're new, you're kind of starving a little bit. So it's but you always have to remember, no matter what, your integrity has to come first, and you have to be honest with them, and you have to be realistic. And you sometimes they get in the moment or the desperation, and you're that's what you're there for, is actually to guide them and make sure they don't make a bad decision that in the end will always come back and be your fault. So you always have to remember,
Always.
always. It's kind of like when you're presenting your documents, your BDBA and your SDBA, the other thing you'll remember when you're presenting those, it's 2.5% or 5% plus HST. And I will say that probably 10 times when I tell them. It's like, because a lot of people will forget that there's HST on the commissions because, yeah. And it was great. The other day I went with the closing gift to one of my clients, and the lawyer, she just told me about the conversation with the lawyer, and he said, there's HST. She goes, oh yes, Maureen went over that multiple times. So it was great. She said, oh no, Maureen went over everything. And so that's why it's so important that you never let your clients be surprised by anything. Upfront honesty and transparency. And when you do that, you've made a friend for life. So,
yeah.
And then social media is the other big thing. Pound yourself on social media, and not in bad ways, but about your what you're doing. Keep yourself current with real estate, and then you join those groups like Ask Nova Scotia and things like that, and then you'll see your clients referring you on there. There's times I have seen myself almost like it's in a competition of people referring me and referring another agent in the area. Just it's like back and forth, and then I'll have people say, I think you're winning right now. And then you'll say, then people message you privately and go, so you were referred a lot. So I had to reach out, and we'll have to have a discussion, right? So you'd be surprised just being on Facebook, create a Facebook business page, be on Instagram. Those are really my two. I just kill it on Facebook, free advertising. And I just advertise myself, whatever I'm doing. Those are the people, and you want to friend a lot of people, but make sure you know them. There's just random people. I get random people all the time. Like, we have one mutual friend. That's not enough. I don't recognize you.
Yeah.
But other than that, you want to keep yourself safe, but it's still a wide open forum on my Facebook. Anyone can follow me, look, what have you, but that is where I do my business. Yeah. And I've just kind of, when I met new people, pass them a calendar, for the year, something that has my, my contact information on, something to be on in their face all the time. So I usually now always do like a magnetic calendar. So I'm a single agent, but I have myself as Ferguson Home Sales, and that's my logo. So when I do go back into a team, I don't have to rebrand. I don't have to say anything else. It's just, just with the brokerage, they need to know whether I'm a team and what have you. But just things like that, something simple to hand out when you meet somebody new, to make that first impression. I know this year is terrible. I always love to shake hands. It's important to shake hands and make that contact. Closing, I almost always hug. Now it's just like, congratulations. I think I miss it the most. I don't know. I mean, you can see it's awkward because everybody wants to do that celebratory thing, and it's like, so happy for you. But yeah, so as you grow, you'll take on new things. Like today, I'm going to actually pick up. So this is how I guess I progress. You start small, little things. Definitely focus on your social media in the first year. That's huge. As you're building a clientele and referrals and then you add a little bit. So like I do a closing gift. It's probably it's probably well over $100 now because I'm building it as I go. But that's as my success is kind of coming, I can afford to do it. And I support local with my closing baskets, things like that. People love that stuff. Like they, and now today I'm going to pick up actually chocolates. So I've had boxed chocolates made with my little Ferguson Home Sales. It's a little bar in the middle, some chocolates. It's just something that's very, personal to give them, and thoughtfulness. People like that. So, but originally I think I started out with buying maybe a vase and going to Costco and getting a bouquet of flowers for them for that day, for that welcoming, something welcoming for them. But yeah, so things like that, just to leave an impression, I guess, at the end, and hopefully that they will refer you. And it's not that you're buying them, but you want to leave that really, it's like everything. There's a flow from start to finish, and you want to leave them with something really warm and fuzzy and thoughtful to go with that brand new house that they're gonna unpack.
Yeah.
So yeah, but mainly social media, huge.
Mhm.
My goal right now is getting better at taking good pictures.
Yeah. Did you see some of the conversation that was on our KW Facebook page yesterday about some of the listings that have been coming out lately, and some agents have been doing their own photos, which if you have a background in photography, that's great. Like, you could probably do a fantastic job. The majority of us don't have a background in photography.
You got to know what you're doing, and it's
You
terrible.
really, really do.
You're giving it's a disservice to your client if you have to. You know how the old adage is, you need to spend money to make money. And when you want to be a listing agent, boy, that's a tough one. You need to definitely stand out, I guess. And I don't mean you have to like stand on your head and do anything super wonderful. Again, customer service number one. You have to have a great personality and bond with that person you're meeting to get that appointment, to get that listing. They need to feel like they can trust you no matter what, and you are going to be on their side. From there, yeah, I used my rule of thumb. I would have a professional photographer who took stills. Anything under a $250 listing, I would have 250,000. I would have them come in and do my pictures. Anything over 250, I had already started doing that 3D tour.
Yeah, the dollhouse tour.
Right, the dollhouse tour. So I was already doing that. Then when COVID hit, that's it. Everything was a 3D tour, because we need to make sure people can see the houses, and we don't know if we can get people in at the beginning. And now I've just kept that service up for the taxes in, I think, 300 and some odd dollars to have that. It's worth it, when you're going to make a commission. And those sellers love to be able to share it on Facebook. And have their house. It's pride for them, because they've taken so much pride in cleaning it, organizing it. In most cases, there's some that think they've done a great job, and we're like, oh my god. I've had that, especially ones that are trying to get ready to move anyway, so they just box their stuff up, but they have no storage. We have to work around that kind of stuff. But overall, I think it's important that they know that they feel they're your number one client. Doesn't matter if you have 50 clients you're working with. Everyone needs to feel like they're number one, and that they're your priority. They don't care about anybody else, but they always need to feel like you've made them number one priority.
Well,
just to clarify, when I said getting better at taking pictures, I did not mean listing pictures.
I think you meant did you mean for social media?
Yeah, just like general advertising self and team stuff, not taking my own listing pictures.
Well, and Rebecca, for you, like when you and Janice are going out for like inspections or things like that, it's nothing for me, just kind of, hey, I'm at my inspection today, or hey, I'm getting photos done for my new listing today, and I just do a shot of myself with a little peek in the background of something. I've done that. That was probably more like last year I did that. This year, not quite so much, because it was a very busy year. And
it's been so busy this year. It's hard to keep up with all of those things.
Yeah. So that's been a bit more challenging, but as you have the time, you work more into it. And as you have less time, you hope you've done enough as well, and then you're just more doing, okay, accepted offer. Now it's, sold, it's closed. You can get 3 good posts out of each out of each sale, you're doing great, right? Because it's on usually between 2 weeks. So time you get an accepted offer, or you can even say, oh, writing offers. This market's so hard because you can be writing offers and not getting an accepted offer to brag about in 24 hours, right? So
Yeah.
but you're still putting it up there and it's still showing your current. Nothing hurts you, I don't think. Because everyone knows this is a challenging market, to win one in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Or
I
how
think
to
if you're going to be asking for 2.5%, we need to be providing a
Yes,
level of service.
yes, it's very, very important.
If
Yeah,
we're asking them to pay us thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
I think we need to provide something in return that's seen as value, that's seen as we're working on their behalf, and we have systems in place. So this is what I will provide, and this is what I'll do.
Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, in this market, you just have to stick a for sale sign out front and make sure it's on MLS, and that's really all you have to do.
As long as you haven't let them overprice it, or
Exactly. Yes, 100% agree.
you can be in this market. It's a tough market. You can be $5,000 over being greedy, which normally in the old markets we could do that, have that negotiation money in there. That will shoot you in the foot today. You need to be bang on, and really there's no reason why you shouldn't be, because you've now compared your client's home with all the other ones that have been paid over ask. So you've already upped the value of your client's home, so they don't need to add more negotiation. The negotiation is going to be who's going to pay more. But if you go 5,000 over and you've set that up for a multiple offer situation and you've over asked, you're going to sit there and listen to crickets, and you're going to be embarrassed to go back to your clients and say, oops, our strategy didn't work.
Yeah.
And
We're
you're
better to go a little under.
a smidgen. It doesn't have to be much, but
Yep.
buyers are savvy, and they know when something is overpriced, and they can smell it. So you need to be, I never undervalue. I definitely value it. To what it needs to be. I actually had one of our colleagues, Renee Archibald, reach out to me one day because I had gotten the listing over in Timberley, which is where she's from. And she said, how did you price that? And I said, well, I scooped out the area. I looked at comparables, and she said, Maureen, Timberley is a hard spot. She said, there's pockets. She said, you have that so bang on. She said, I felt like you lived here. And like, and that's the tough part, trying to do comparables and to make sure you are valuing properly. It's a science. It's kind of it can be hit and miss, and I could have done it wrong, and obviously, but it was nice to hear that, because you are trusting that you've pulled the right pockets, and and I don't live out there, so anyways, that went into multiple offers, no problem. I have a very happy client that will be closing next week, and moving on. But yeah, it's very important to, as you get more, I guess, confident in your own being, you will be in control of your listings, and you will be able to hopefully advise them and have them trust you to listen to your advice, which is what you should list for and how this should work. And the more you do, the better you get the better you get at it, and then more confident. And when they feel you're confident in yourself, they're confident in you. Yeah,
for sure. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Okay, come on. Don't leave us hanging here. Erica, do you have anything that you're curious about, or?
I have so much, I just don't know where to begin.
That's all right. Wherever. I know it feels weird to do, but just throw it out there.
I will. I feel like I feel right now that I'm just kind of being a sponge.
That's good.
I'm soaking it all in, and I'm not shy to pop up if I think of a specific question. But I'm just enjoying so much everything you're saying and taking some notes. And I love the practical advice.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. So I think I've just been jotting down notes, Maureen, and just I thought if there, you know, if there's no questions, I know people's time is really valuable, so I don't want to make this longer than what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So what I did was some of the highlights from what you're saying is pull from people that you know and build your database.
Absolutely.
Right. So start from there. So that's where you build it from the ground up. You build it on a solid foundation and you're going to build a successful business.
Right. And I will add a note to that. When I started my database at the very beginning, I just updated my database now. Because when you start raw, before you're into real estate, you're just pulling anybody and everybody you can think of, your contacts on your phone, what have you. You can then narrow that, you know, that's great. It's desperation in the beginning. Let's be honest. You don't know what you're doing and who's, you know, going to want it, or, you know, who will be receptive. But now we just did ours because now it's Christmas card time and things like that. So I looked at it and I went, oh, okay, delete, delete, delete. So there's ones that's like, okay, they really haven't given me anything in the last 3 years. Yes, they're on my Facebook, what have you. I'll deal with them from there. But that real hardcore database is the ones you want to make sure you keep current. So those then will be your clients and, you know, things like that, past clients. And then keep them happy and focused as well. You never want, when your deal is done, I always say to my clients, just because our, you know, transaction is finished, it doesn't mean I'm not still here for you. You can reach out to me anytime. I have a referral package that if anytime they need painters, contractors, whoever for things, call me. You need a landscaper, I've got a name. So then you still are useful.
Providing value.
Providing value, even after the deal is done, and they eat that up. Honestly, you know, you stay current with them.
Yep. And that you provide excellent customer service. Integrity is first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That you have to be realistic with your clients, and that transparency is a huge key to it, because they can smell it a mile away if you are not being transparent, or they feel like you're trying to pull one over on them or be dishonest. They know.
Yeah. You don't let them ever think you're that greasy salesperson. Like, you know, that's just there for the money.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you hear that, like, I've seen it on Facebook where people get in the comments about, you know, using a real estate agent and things like that. And they're like, oh, they're just a salesperson. They don't provide value. They don't do. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I never want to be, you know, hung in that portrait with like that. You know, it's just about being you and being real.
Yeah. It's not about a transaction. It's not a transactional relationship.
Nope.
It's a real relationship that you want to foster and nurture and grow.
Yeah.
And some of those last
forever
and years and years.
Janice, how many have you had that repeat? And
yeah, I know that are just, they'll call you and say, hey, we have something to sell, or hey, we want to go look at this property, or we have a friend who we're sending your way, you know, and those are built on relationships. Those are, absolutely. You know, and so that really is your bread and butter.
Absolutely.
And those are the things
that you can get.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really is. It really is, because I personally am only going to refer people to people that I know are going to take care of them and do a good job.
Exactly.
So I should expect that's what other people are going to do as well.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for the biggest purchase of your life.
Huge, huge. Right.
We're really, in essence, responsible for them spending hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And overspending.
I know. So it does.
What should I bid? Oh my God, I can't spend your money for me. You know what? And because we are in this market, I'll say this is my biggest, there's two sayings I have, but so when it's my buyers and they're saying, well, what should I bid? I said, you can only offer over what you feel like you can sleep at night knowing you overspent on this home and that you can afford to spend in a monthly payment. I cannot tell you. Yeah, you know, they only got, you know what I mean? There's times too, you know, we know their budget only goes to here. We know it's not going to reach to where they need it to. Yeah. But I have to let them do it, because sometimes, you know, some properties never go for more than 10,000 over, and they've just, all of them have, like, I've seen multiples come into mine where they're all within, like, you know, $100 or $1,000 of each other.
Yeah.
Conditions will play that point. And if it's a listing that I have, my thing is always, we want to create the piranha effect where everyone's going for your property. So, and those, they're going to fight to the death to get the property. So that's how I keep my listing aid or my listings or my sellers, trust me on this. If we list it here, you can have it. If you list where you want to, I can't promise it. And then we could just be going offer by offer. That seems to work. So
Yeah. And every once in a while you get one that's like, no, this is where I want it. Okay. All right, let's try it for 2 weeks.
Exactly.
And you will have this conversation. And then by doing this, you're agreeing to going where my price is this, and this is where we need to be.
Right. But don't be disappointed when nothing happens.
Right.
And most of them will call right away and say, yeah, I think maybe I made the wrong choice here. Let's drop that right now.
Yeah, when they're not seeing the flurry of activity.
Exactly. They're not getting, and they won't even come and view it now, I find. Like it's like, because they're not, if $5,000 makes you, I don't know, like there becomes a stigma over the seller.
Yeah. Or they do, what I find is, I just had one that was, they didn't want to listen to price, and people were they had viewings booked, clients did drive-bys, and then called their agent and said, no.
Not interested.
Yeah. Which it was very interesting. I've not had it to that detail of them driving by and then pulling out.
Yeah.
But it's crazy with the market. Like it's
much better that they do that. And I've much encouraged my buyers to definitely do drive-bys. Make sure it's an area you like. Just because you see it on MLS doesn't mean that it's going to suit you, and that the street's going to suit you. If you want sidewalks, and this happens to be a street without sidewalks, go do your own homework first, type of deal. And does it feel good?
Get out and walk around the neighborhood if you're really thinking about it.
Yeah. See what the traffic's like on the street. Is it fast? Do you have small children? Is that a dangerous, you got to have a safe environment to invest in.
What are your needs, right? What is it that your needs and wants are? Yeah. So question I'll ask for people, just because I know one or two may think of it afterwards. Where do you order your magnets?
Vistaprint.
Vistaprint. Okay. Good.
And I've also done up a Christmas card this year. That's it's the first time I've done my own Christmas card. So
yeah. Nice. Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get them yet?
The Christmas card, yes. Is there any loose ones?
Yeah.
Grab me one.
Oh, you used the last loose one for someone.
I don't know. Just open one up anyways. We'll use Shane's maybe.
No, you can't open a card that's already been sealed.
Here we go. We're gonna kill everyone's time here. Sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. No, it's okay, Maureen. I was just curious if you have one. If you have one.
Yeah, no, we do. Oh, look.
Awesome.
All right. So I just picked a picture.
Yeah.
I don't know how I can.
Oh, that's really pretty.
So then it's just, happy. Of course, I didn't really Christmas. I just said happiest holidays and New Year. And
nice.
It's just a single card. I didn't even do a folded card.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Just a nice little thing. It just thank you for your business and continued support. Warmest wishes for a joyous holiday season.
Beautiful.
Yeah. May your days be merry and bright. That's just,
Yeah. And then it covers everyone.
It does, without hopefully no insult. It's a landmine, because I don't want to,
I know
exclude or only include, so, you got to learn that. But so Vistaprint's my friend for a lot of things. I do use our guy, Brandon Crow, through the office. He designed my signs and things like that to start out my cards. Got him to print those. But I have printed out my own cards through Vistaprint as well. It's very easy, inexpensive, and keep in control of that. So I did that my last year when I first went over to my own team. Yeah.
I always like having these kind of conversations because they're so helpful for new agents.
Yeah.
So where do you even start? Like, you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
And you're in control of the amount as well, right? I'm an overachiever. I always buy way too much. So of course, when my team went kaput after just a year, and I went back to single agent, I'm like, oh my God, the money. Right? I'm just dumping it in the garbage, going, oh my God.
Oh, Maureen, that would be heartbreaking.
It
Yeah.
is. I mean, I had a big slide of, gold foiled business cards, because my business card is very, in case you haven't noticed, I'm extra. I'm very extra. So this is my business card, and it's gold foiled. All right. So
Yeah.
I like things very blingy. In case you haven't noticed, my everything on me is sparkly. So that's all gold foiled, and my name and what have you. So
Mhm.
um, I had a whole long sleeve. I don't know how long it was. It was a big box.
Like 1,000 cards.
And the way I
Yeah.
had it, thinking the team would be lasting forever, I kept my good gold foiled ones for meeting your clients at that first impression card. And then I did a lovely Vistaprint one that almost had a pearlized effect to it. It was beautiful. For the ones I would leave at the homes when I showed homes and things like that, ones that weren't, not as expensive, and it's your throwaway card. You like to think the first impression card isn't a throwaway card. But anyways, I threw everything out. So yeah, so this time I just got good impression cards, and I just used them, and didn't buy as big of an amount, and can just reorder.
Right.
So you learn some lessons along the way. You waste some money along the way.
You do. Yep. You do. And then you learn and kind of go, okay, next time I'll do it a little different, or I don't need maybe that volume because I can reorder.
Yeah.
A sale is a sale, but you're still spending money.
Yes, and you still got to be careful with your money,
Yeah.
especially in that first
Yeah.
year. So that's why I say, your advertising on Facebook is free. If you don't have to spend money, you just have to make yourself current on Facebook and Instagram, and that's free advertising. So then work on your leads, and talk to people, and just let them know what you're into. That
Don't
you're
be a secret real estate agent.
Yeah, you want to be out there. They want somebody that's going to be out there and that's aggressive in a way, because they need that aggressive buying agent that's going to be looking for homes for them, and helping them get that deal, and winning the bid.
Mhm.
Listing agent, they want that too. That's going to be aggressive and get their house sold.
Yep.
You don't have to be quiet in this kind of. Maybe that's why I've thrived. All
You've been
these years.
unleashed, Maureen.
Anyways, it seems to have worked. I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't, one thing I will say when I'm on for Facebook, I do not get involved in anything political, religious. It's the same as hairstyling, cosmetology, same thing, 3 things: no religion, no politics, and what's the third? Probably do with money. Never talk about money, but there's those rules. So as much as you want to be an advocate, I've watched other agents be very much an advocate for things going on right now that are very sensitive. Very I respect that they're standing up for others' rights, and but at the same time, you can shoot yourself. So there's, as much as you want to be like everything that you can be to support, there's the others that you can hurt yourself. So I find neutral and not making myself full point on it. There's other ways to do it in the background, but on your social media, I think can really hurt you, because everyone's super sensitive, and they're just looking for anyone to pick on.
Yeah. I know I'm watching a couple of things play out right now, and I'm just, oh dear, it's so hard to watch, because as much as you agree or disagree with it,
Exactly.
to me, some of those conversations are person to person.
Yes.
And I don't want somebody Googling my name, and then that's what comes up.
Right.
So, and then that's the first impression that they have of me,
Absolutely.
which could be opposite. I don't need to have everybody align with my values and belief systems to be able to work together or even be a friend.
And no one should really know your own. You need to be neutral about that, so that you can represent everybody.
Yeah.
The minute you start to, I don't want to call it picking sides or showing your opinions or what have you, that's not what makes you a good real estate agent. You need to be focused on real estate. And the other stuff, like you say, that's a sideline in personal conversations, one-on-one. The minute you put yourself up on Facebook and choose or what have you, I think it's quite dangerous to a career. And I'm going to say that from a older standpoint, as a person not being in the 20s. I know you guys have only grown up, the young generation. You guys only know having a phone and social media. But if you think back at, 12, 13, 14, the bullying, there's no different even at my age. A gal came out on Facebook the other day just to say her and her husband had decided to get a divorce. One of her mom's friends emailed the mom and cut down her daughter about how, insensitive and immature, and cut her down to her mother just because she made it there, the announcement. And she said, I guess it's time we, just say what's going on in our lives. This is an easier platform just to let everybody know. And that she got herself in trouble for that, so it doesn't matter what you say, someone's going to twist it and be negative about it. And you just don't want that in your career. So if I can give you one word of advice, is stay off platforms that way. Because you think you're helping, and there's going to be others that are going to see it not, even though you were as innocent as possible in it. I don't know, Mike, what do you think about that? I know you're being really quiet, but what's your opinion on that?
I had a broker one time tell the office that, he had a bad experience with one of his longtime clients. And he said, it was really bad. And he said, I could have thrown him to the curb and never worked with him again. But he said, I ate my pride and I got another 6 or 7 deals out of him before, I retired or he got out of the business kind of thing. And I think it comes down to a question of personal values. Like there's people in my past that I will not work with. They phone me up all the time and say, Mike, we're getting ready to sell. And I said, yeah, that's good. Well, you got to come see us. Yeah, I'll come see you. And that's been 4 years. Like I won't work with them.
So
I won't even stick them onto another agent I know because they're just dishonest and I just don't agree with them.
Yeah.
So it's a personal thing.
Yep.
But I agree the other side too. It's time to keep your mouth shut sometimes. You just.
Well, that's just it, right? You're there to do a job, but once you know certain things, and it's true. I've met people too where I had a couple that wanted me to come look at their house down in Beaver Harbor. I did. And she was very talkative, and I only ever really knew her through Facebook and what have you. Anyways, she was talking about a previous deal. The problems. They were suing, basically. They were suing her. They had, put complaints in with NSREC, the whole kit and caboodle. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, so they're that type. Because really, once they know their power, and that's great, you can always tell your clients, if I don't do, if I'm of a disservice to you or I've really wronged you, this is where you can go. It's in our contract.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But you could just tell it was a power tool for them. So I came back and I said, well, I'll give you a price on the home and what have you. And I dragged it on, because it was kind of like, I'm kind of really scared, really. It's one of those things. And you're at a point in your business where you don't want to turn down business either. I was new enough that it's like, it's money, and I think if I do my job right, I won't have that issue. But anyways, moving forward, in the end, they made the choice and they decided to go back with the listing agent that had just expired because he would have had a better season of pictures and video of this home, which they really needed it to sell for down there. It's too far. So I was like, oh, okay. So fast forward, they sold their house, bought into another house, still complaining, having issues. Then I've seen them on Ask Nova Scotia with other people having issues with real estate agents or things that have happened and they're the first one saying, go right straight to NSREC, you can get them fined. I'm like, oh, dodge the bullet. As nice as they were to me and I was to them, that's the last thing I want as a client that's, almost holds it over your head like a noose just waiting for you.
Yeah. Trust your gut.
Yeah.
Right?
So, and that's very important in this industry. Very important.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't put your finger on it.
Yeah. But you just know there's just,
Yeah.
Another thing we'll broach on, if you don't mind,
Sure.
just think we're agents and everything. for you girls and showing homes to buyers. You're probably going to get a lot of maybe leads. You don't know who they are from. They reach out to you, however, and say, look, can you show me, 123 Main Street? And you don't know them, never go alone. Always have a buddy system. You don't have to have another agent. I know we're always told, at least tell somebody where you're going to be and for how long. For me, in my case, I take my partner. If it's really something, I have that. Sometimes I'll have a gut instinct, like, oh, this, and, it'll be like, oh, in the middle of painting, and it's like, well, I may never come back home. Like put down the paintbrush, and he'll be like, you're right. And it could be nothing, but it's definitely better. You're going to go into areas you don't know. Your safety is number one importance. And then we should be having some kind of a meeting as well for new agents coming in here.
Yep. Yeah, that's on our radar for the education committee for safety and things. Because I know one of the things is sometimes I will have somebody there, but other times I will walk up to the client as I'm meeting them with my husband on the phone and saying, yeah, hon, I'm here. I'm at such and such an address. This viewing should take about a half an hour. I will give you a call as soon as I'm back in the car.
Perfect.
Right? So then they know exactly, okay. And let's be honest, I am not a supermodel. There's probably few and far between people, but it's not about that, right? It's
just
about
a freak out there that's looking to either hurt you.
Right. It's just about being a female.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. So you need to protect yourself. You need to be aware, and you never assume that will ever happen to you.
Exactly. Right. I had one day, and this gentleman had reached out, and I said, no problem. I booked the appointment. I think I got there first. I did, and I had to wait for him, and he showed up a little late, but that was all right. So my fiance was out in the vehicle, but you know what? He had another guy that came and met us. So then I would have been 2 against 1, and then I had to kind of show the house again. Now they were very nice. It was safe. There was no issues. They were lovely, but that could have been really bad if I would have had no partner, and maybe had my partner not been sitting in that driveway, maybe that was going to be a different outcome. How do I know?
Yep, you don't.
You don't. So even if you take another, like let's just say Eric and Rebecca, you guys tag team that, if this, let's see if we can coordinate. Let's see, if we can, or any of the new agents have a buddy system for the new agents that at least,
Yeah.
I just like to say that talking on the phone, so they can hear you is an important thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're even talking to anybody, but just say it nice and loud, and they think you're talking to somebody on the phone.
Yeah, you don't have to be talking to anybody.
One of the agents started there. I asked him one time, like, where his business was coming from, and he told me that he'd been playing on the same seniors hockey team for however many years. And he said, I never go in that change room without talking to my cell phone, whether or not there's anybody on it. He said, I'm talking about real estate when I walk in that change room. And he said, they all laugh at me and make comments about me doing so much business. And we play our hockey, and we come back in, and we're sitting there drinking our beer. And sure enough, someone says, my cousin, my uncle, my father, my kid, somebody's interested in buying a house. He said, I get 1/3 of my business out of that hockey team.
Yeah.
Brilliant strategy.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say is that Royal LePage had a safety word. I don't know if KW has that or not.
Yeah, it does.
But everybody should know that. Like, I haven't heard of it. I'm a guy, but nonetheless, every woman should have that ingrained in her mind that she can phone the office and just say that word in a conversation, and things start happening.
Yeah, it's you ask for the red file and then you say the address, and then they will call and have the RCMP there. So that's good though, Mike, because that's been around for a while, but it's obviously something we need to revisit.
It should be something that should be
all
put
the
in
time.
reminders. Absolutely, Mike, you're right. Because even I knew that, but forgot it.
Start my list.
And I don't know if it was last year. I guess we did the safety course too for our own self-defense, which was amazing. It's so bad that COVID's here. I mean, we could probably still do it with masks. I don't know, but just great to, in case someone grabs you, and how to release and things to do. I really enjoyed it.
And it's not just women, right? I mean, it's not happening in our market, but in Ontario now, you know, they've lost the male agents up there who
Yeah,
disappeared.
yeah. It's funny because I was going to say, like, we're talking a lot about women, but it's not just women,
Just women.
right? Like it doesn't matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter what your sexual orientation is. If you are putting yourself into situations where you're the only one, and especially for open houses, we advertise open houses. I'm going to be at this address from this time to this time, and there's probably not going to be a lot of people around. You're really giving yourself a target, so I think we need to be very aware, and we need to be taking steps to protect ourselves and the people that are around us.
Bring a brother, bring a partner, bring a friend,
Yeah. Just come and hang out. Just come and sit and
once
Yeah.
there's numbers and stuff, it makes it less.
yeah, and to have the conversation with your sellers, right? So this is why I'm doing it, so that they're not wondering why is this
Why you're
person.
bringing people
But
out.
the majority of sellers will want you to do that once they understand the reasoning for it.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, that will be something we'll definitely add to the education calendar.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I do have to go.
Yes, we need to wind it up. We are 1 minute away from 11. So
Great, we made it an hour. I can't believe it.
you did awesome, Maureen. You did
Yeah.
fantastic.
Chatty Cathy.
Very helpful. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I hope so. If there's anything, you can reach out to me anytime. Ask the office for my email or my phone number. You can text me, email me, call me, whatever you'd like.
I've already looked you up on Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I was going to say, anybody here that doesn't know Maureen, get in contact with her. I know she's more than happy to answer questions, or just even to be able to tag along sometimes on stuff. I know she'd be happy to do that as well. So Maureen's an amazing human. So yeah.
So Maureen, I would love to tag along.
Sure.
So if there's ever an opportunity, please, I would love that.
Absolutely. Not a problem.
Thanks.
All right. It's great meeting you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording now.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a nice day.
Nice seeing you.